Hello there, and welcome to another exciting episode of Dead Reflections Podcast. This is episode 34, and we are your hosts,
Caleb.
My name's Kolby.
and I'm your boy Josh, aka Drifter Voyages. Thank you so much for tuning in wherever you are. New episodes every Friday. Our goal here is to give someone at the table the chills, and if we're lucky, we might even send those spooks along to you.
Some familiar with failure updates. That's our band, if you didn't know. October 9th, that's 2 Sundays away. West Texas Fear Fest, rolling 7th Ranch in Odessa, Texas. Not only are we sharing the outdoor stage with our boys in Brightburn within Ophir and Ethereal Flood, but there will also be 6 DJs, a haunted maze, Fear Factor activities, tons of art vendors, and a big thanks to Cosmic Productions and Sound Deep for putting that festival together. Big thank! We're going to try to live stream from it.
Also, that one's going to be the last one under Sound Deep Productions for a while. Annie is going to be taking a step back from everything, so if you can make it out to that, make it out, because that's going to be a big deal for that one.
Yeah, hell
big
yeah.
deal.
She's a really
Big
nice
deal
person,
for
a great promoter.
Brightburn, too, for reasons we can't
Yeah.
really talk about. But
Yeah, it's one to come out to if you're in the
Yeah.
area.
October 14th, IXI Fest in Harker Heights at Game Day Sports Bar.
Weird.
Extrixion is putting that one on. Everyone Dies in Utah is playing. Rain, they're playing. Beyond the Dead and Psychopact are also playing. Shout out to ATX Metal Podcast, Fog Hog Vapors, and of course, Extrixion for putting this festival together. We always have new shows in the works, as well as shows that are announced. Wait, what happened to the other show? Oh, I never said it. All right. The day before the IXI Fest, I completely skipped over it. Never Rest EP release show at the Ballroom in Austin, Texas. That's with Never Rest, Koenigsor, Mothman Designs, and The Venice. We always have new shows in the works, as well as shows that are announced are always subject to change. So, but be sure to come out, catch a live set, as well pick up some of our merch items only available at shows. On the topic of merch, which boys wearing?
I've got a Ghost Key shirt on that I've worn before.
Wow, how
Ghost
original.
Keys are dad.
We're running out of shirts, guys.
Here we are.
Josh, what you got?
I have Walmart. Like literally, I bought this all from Walmart.
And then you got the boy
Oh.
on the hat,
Oh yeah,
the boy's tooth on the hat.
No, it's Foxgrove.
Yeah, the boy.
Oh.
It's just James.
Foxgrove, Big Rip. Yeah, the guy who recorded it and produced our first album. This was his band,
And
Foxgrove.
EP,
They're still on Spotify,
And
and they
EP,
go
right?
hard in the
And
paint.
the EP, yes,
And the EP. Oh shit.
and future stuff
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah. What
Hey,
you got
James.
on? Hi, James.
I got a
Coming up
new
again.
shirt on. Speaking of producers, this is our other producer, Dylan Quartz. His band, Living Hollow. I can't really see. It's pretty cool.
It's pretty spooky.
I promise it looks cool.
Our premise is cool. Go check Living Hollow out. They have 3 singles out, Chapter 1, Chapter 2, and Chapter 3. I believe Chapter 4 is coming out in a couple weeks, and it's featuring
I can't read.
the vocalist from Carcosa, and it's sick.
They're very heavy.
hard.
Very,
Yeah, they're
So,
very heavy.
If
If
you
you
like,
heavier than us, you should listen to them.
if you like Spite, if you like
Yeah.
Thioder's Murder, if you like Veil Maya, just like deathcore in general, go check them out. Living Hollow on Spotify. But yeah, and then I got Charlie Crockett on the hat.
Charlie Crockett.
Boys, what did we? So it's been a while since we actually did a full episode.
Yeah.
What did we?
So Elvira's got our last topic that we drew, and that would be bodies of water. And I think this was Colby's suggestion.
Was it?
I believe so. So we
Wow.
have a little jar here again for new people. A jar here that we draw from at the end of every episode. If you have suggestions, you let us know. We write them down. They go in the jar, and eventually they will get pulled. So
Yeah.
send us.
Yeah.
But bodies of water. Do y'all have little snippets of what your story will be? Or Josh, do you want to explain what happened to
Yeah.
us?
So it finally happened, guys.
We're overdue. We are overdue.
We do get a lot of our stories from the No Sleep Reddit, and we try to ask and make sure that it's okay to use the stories. Well, turns out me and Caleb both asked the same dude for his story, and he said yes. He was
Yeah,
like,
he was very
I'm sure
happy.
this guy feels on top of the world right now, thinking all these podcasts want to use his story on their episodes. But yeah. Shout out. What was his name?
Was it You Okay?
UOK9707.
That's it.
We appreciate you, buddy. We appreciate 9707. UOK9707.
Sorry if we got you too real excited about
Yeah.
having multiple podcasts.
We're in
It
the
was
same
one
podcast, bro.
But that just goes to show how good your story was.
Yeah, it's really great. It's super creepy. It's about that thalassophobia and
Fear of oceans.
Yeah, fear of
It's just
bodies of water, right?
Fear of deep water.
Yeah, and he talks about a
Water.
lake and some shit that happens, Lake Tahoe, and it's a good story. It's
It is
really
a very
scary.
good one.
Yeah, I'm super excited.
I actually found a TikTok on a dude who has thalassophobia
Mm-hmm.
or whatever, and it's weird how I just discovered it a couple days later, and now we're talking about that.
Well, that's
Yeah.
crazy.
And
Yeah.
he went over just viral videos of ocean diving and swimming with sharks and whales and
Just
shit.
making him sweat.
he was
Oh, that poor
he was
guy.
shit in the bed.
Why would you do that to yourself?
So since we drew
You're not gonna
similar
ask about my
stories,
story?
no, not really.
Yeah, what about your
Since
story?
I have to tell mine because listen, you talked about how we had the same story. You took a story. Since you took the story first before me, I have to explain my story. There's an order of operations. I don't want to do it anymore. You go to take.
I don't want to do it anymore. Whatever.
Mine's the horse by the pond. It's about a white horse by a pond.
It's about a white horse by a pond.
It's on No Sleep, and the poster is Andromeda Ice Latte, and it was a nice little bite-sized spooky story.
Which-
What kind of horse was it?
It's a white one.
It was a white one.
But it was by a lake.
Yeah. So real talk though, Andromeda
horse,
Ice
you said?
Latte.
By a lake.
Andromeda Ice Latte, I would drink the shit out of that.
It
I'm
does
just
sound
saying, that sounds like it would be delicious. I just imagine it being like the unicorn drink from Starbucks, but more purple. I don't know. I just had to chime in. Sorry.
Okay.
Maybe.
Well, my story. So I've done one of these on the podcast before. It's another SCP, a very real and true government facility. Shout out Bitter Instinct for
you can't fool me anymore. Okay.
asking us to do this one. I'm not gonna lie, I got fucking terrified doing writing this down or organizing this because I have a lot of audio that I will play with mine.
Oh shit.
So yeah, it's gonna be fun,
All right.
Nice.
and it's a SCP. That's
And
all.
you're
I can
setting
really.
the mood,
Oh,
bro.
you are.
Let's go.
Dang.
All right, so we're gonna go ahead and light the ceremonial candle. All ghosts and demons, please come in this place and let Kolby know that he's a cute boy. And the fucking smile. Let's go.
This story is about SCP 2316.
By order of the Overseer Council, the following file describes a Keter-class anomalous cognito hazard and is Level 42316 classified. Unauthorized access is forbidden.
Item number 2316, Level 4. Containment class, Keter. Disruption class, Kinnick. Risk class, Danger. They've been waiting for a long time.
The following file contains images and text that are carriers for anomalous cognito-hazardous influences.
You do not recognize the bodies in the water.
Due to this, it is imperative that all personnel accessing this file be certified as having a cognitive resistance value, CRV, of no less than 14.5. Should you fail an automated CRV verification, please remain calm and do not move. A member of your site's medical staff will be with you shortly. Please repeat the following phrase slowly and clearly into your terminal microphone.
I do not recognize the bodies in the water.
Running adjusted tonal variance processor. Verification complete. User CRV is within acceptable limits.
Special containment procedures. Under no circumstances are Foundation personnel to approach SCP-2316. Observation of SCP-2316 must only be carried out by remote dummy probes, utilizing video and audio recording equipment. Only those personnel adequately rated for exposure to cognitohazardous anomalies may review footage and audio of SCP-2316. The lake in which SCP-2316 is located has been quarantined and fenced off, and is to be routinely patrolled by individuals who have not been exposed to SCP-2316 and have no prior knowledge of its characteristics.
You do not recognize the bodies in the water.
Individuals who attempt to bypass the enforced quarantine must be apprehended and moved to Site-33 for a full cognitive influence screening. Individuals who come within 50 meters of the lake containing SCP-2316 are to be considered lost.
The following file contains images and text that are carriers for anomalous cognitohazardous influences.
You do not recognize the bodies in the water.
Due to this, it is imperative that all personnel accessing this file be certified as having a cognitive resistance value, CRV, of no less than 14.5. Should you fail an automated CRV verification, please remain calm and do not move. A member of your site's medical staff will be with you shortly. Please repeat the following phrase slowly and clearly into your terminal microphone.
I do not recognize the bodies in the water.
Running at just a tonal variance processor. Verification complete. User CRV is within acceptable limits.
Description: SCP-2316 is designation for an anomalous phenomenon existing within the lake, within county. SCP-2316 manifests as a group of human corpses floating in a small group at the surface of the water. The identities of these corpses are,
Cognitohazard removed. Automated change unknown.
through DNA testing, has been inconclusive. While SCP-2316 appears to be individual instances, it is theorized that SCP-2316 may instead be an entity composed of a collective consciousness. Individual instances of SCP-2316 do not act on their own, but do seem to be able to act collectively as a single unit. The individual instances of SCP-2316 are unrecognizable.
You do not recognize the bodies in the water.
SCP-2316 hosts a powerful cognitohazardous effect, causing those who have viewed SCP-2316 are aware of certain parts of its nature, or who were enrolled in the
Cognitohazard removed. Automated message invalid.
to believe that the individual instances of SCP-2316 are human beings they recognize, typically from their childhood. Attempting to come into contact with SCP-2316 instances by way of entering lake or touching an instance of SCP-2316 will cause other instances of SCP-2316 to appear.
You do not recognize the bodies in the water.
The additional instances only serve to reinforce and add to the strength of the cognitohazard, compelling effective individuals into the lake. Individuals who enter the lake in this way are lost, and to date none have been recovered. Addendum 2316 1. Interview.
Data expired. Error. Unrecognized users. Please log in to view file A0 less than. Verification PI. User CCRL is unaccepted. Let me show you their faces. Begin log.
Did you ever feel compelled to enter the water? Like something was pulling you in? What? No, of course not. There's nothing wrong with them. They didn't drag me in. I saw them in the water and went in myself. I needed to see them. I wanted to hear what they were saying. They're my friends. When you entered the water, what did you see? Faces. My friends. Faces I recognized. Some I didn't, but they became more familiar as I saw them. I'd known them my whole life, but there was something wrong with them. Like the face of someone you see in a dream, or you can't remember it right. There's something wrong, and the way they're speaking, No, that's impossible. They're simply not moving their mouths, but I could hear them, asking for help. They told me. They told me who they were. They told me you knew who they were. That you... Enough of that. You're clearly succumbing to the cognitohazard. We need to get you medical attention, Agent. If you... Get your hands off me! I know all their names, Harrison! I heard them speaking to me! Every single one! All it takes is one person to see them and tell people, and they'll know what you've been trying to hide! Turglaw Wood High School! Subdue them! Get them out of here, take them to amnestics, and turn that goddamn recorder on.
And log. Please repeat the following phrase slowly and clearly into your terminal microphone.
I do not recognize the bodies in the water.
Verification incomplete.
User CRV is not within acceptable limits. User CRV influenced by active cognitive hazards. Please stay still. A member of your site's medical staff 2025-2030 will be with you shortly. Terminal logging out.
That didn't work.
You fucking stop. You're freaking me out, bro.
They're coming. I do not recognize the bodies in the water.
Invalid entry. Terminal low 532. You don't have a lot of time. You'll need to get away quickly. Go back to the lake. Go into the water. Look into their eyes. It's your friends, your classmates. You took the trip to the lake in the fall of '75 together when you were young. Don't you remember? Look into their eyes. I know you can hear them talking to you, just like they talk to me. Don't let them tell you it's just a cognito hazard. This is their fault.
They caused this.
We were all innocent kids, don't you remember? And you just got away, you and I. But the rest of them are at the bottom of that lake, waiting for us to go back to them and be whole together again. They want us to know. They want us to
Remember?
wake up, goddammit. Remember the fall of '75, the year we were supposed to graduate. Don't
Let them make you forget.
They're calling to you. Can you hear them? 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 Can't you hear them? Can you hear them? Look into their eyes. Can you hear them? 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 Can't you hear them? Can you hear them? Can you hear them? I know you can. Can you hear them? Can you hear them?
The bodies in the water. You did not recognize the bodies in the water. You did not recognize the bodies in the water. You did not recognize the bodies in the water. You did not recognize the bodies in the water.
Can you hear them?
They're waiting for you.
So that's my story. What y'all think?
They're creepy.
Dude, that was fucking crazy. That was bravo. That was amazing.
I'm a little mad that you started this episode.
Yeah,
'cause it's not gonna compare.
You know what? You go last now from now on.
Okay.
Because you make Jesus
I
Christ.
mean, I warned y'all.
That was awesome.
Shout out to the Volgun.
The Volgun?
They made that audio.
Oh, that's awesome. Dude, they did a good job, dude. Dude, that was crazy. And then how you were in it, like, and then you're fucking acting, dude. You need a fucking, what is it, Oscar? That shit was crazy.
I just try to scare y'all.
And it's fucking creepy. You did a great job.
All
Good
right,
job.
cool.
Dude, that was you went fucking balls to the wall with that. Like,
like
I am
SCPs.
so impressed.
SCPs are fun.
You've
Yeah.
done both of them now, right? Mm-hmm. Okay. You're the SCP guy.
Isn't there a bunch of
the
people?
SCP
Isn't there
yeah.
a bunch of them?
A lot, yeah.
There's like over 7,000.
We're just gonna become a podcast of SCPs.
I mean, some people that's their entire like content is making. I'm pretty sure that dude is. That's his content. He's making SCPs stories.
Bravo to all of the people that were involved in that. That was amazing.
Very well done.
Yeah, seriously, that's awesome. Now our stories are gonna suck.
It's gonna pale a little bit in comparison.
Yeah. God damn it. A little piano in the background. Like,
It's okay. Y'all can leave now. No.
all right, so I got the boner, so that means you're next.
I
huh?
do have a story, yeah.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say you had a boner too.
I do have a story.
Not at the moment. Okay, so this one's on Reddit, No Sleep, posted by Andromeda Iced Latte, and the story is titled The Horse by the Pond. When I was a child, my grand told me, if you ever see a beautiful white horse near a body of water, run. That's exactly what I did when I was hiking in the woods near my house, and I saw the most beautiful white horse drinking from a small pond off the path. She was tall and muscular with a long white mane. When she noticed me, I'd swear she was calling to me, Brendan, 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 in a really angelic voice. The urge to approach the creature was strong, but then I remembered what my grand said all those years ago, so I ran. I knew the quickest way out of the woods, so I ran towards that direction, but to my shock, I ended up back at the pond. What the? That's not possible, I thought. The white horse was still at the lake, calling to me, Brendan, Brendan, Brendan. I tried to leave the woods again, but ended up back at that pond. I tried again, and again, and again, with no luck. Every time I saw the horse, she kept repeating my name. Each time I saw her, the urge to approach her got stronger. What's the worst that can happen? I eventually thought. So I slowly began to approach the horse. She looked up at me as I reached out my hand, and she lowered her head towards me, and just as I thought to myself, you're friendly, she grabbed at my hand with her mouth and began to drag me into the lake, holding me under the water with her strong legs. I struggled and struggled and struggled, gasping for air as I tried to escape. Then I heard what sounded like a bang, and then the horse ran away. I got out from the water, breathing very heavily. "Are you all right?" said the voice of a strange man. I turned around. Standing there, with a hunting rifle in hand, was an elderly old man with a long gray beard. What was that?" I asked. "A kelpie. Dangerous creatures they are." A kelpie. That's what they're called? My gran warned me of them when I was a child, and to run if I ever saw a white horse near a body of water. She's a clever woman. This particular one has been around for centuries. We call her Kapal Diabal. Demon horse? Correct. I tried to run many times, but I kept coming back to this pond. Well, sounds like her powers have grown. Before we could run. Looks like now the only way to escape is to make her run. Looks like gunshots might do the trick. For now, at least. If she's been around for so long, why haven't I seen her before? I've walked this trail many, many times. Kelpies are shapeshifters. They mostly take the form of a horse, but they can change into anyone or anything that they like. She's probably been watching you for ages now, waiting for the right time to strike. Maybe as a bird or an insect, maybe even someone that you've met on this trail before. Now, I think it's time you get home before she returns. The elderly man drove me back to my home, and after that day, I got a gun license and a rifle and kept it with me at all times in case she finds me. I haven't walked that trail since, and I warn to anyone who plans to walk it to stay away for their own safety. Very, very bite-sized story.
No, that was
I enjoyed it.
No, that was a dope story.
I found it
I-
2 minutes before we started.
I know.
That gave me. It reminded me of my story of the lake.
Yeah. And what did they call it? That a kelpie?
No,
No, I don't
Where
think so.
was that in The Witcher?
Oh, that's possible.
I've heard that.
Either that or
Before.
Scared to Death, possibly. 'Cause I think
Maybe.
they had a story about a child seeing the horse and getting
there's a
dragged.
good chance.
Was it Scared to Death or you that had the story where
was
they
a
got
horse,
on the
yeah.
horse and it took them into the water? Okay.
Yeah. I thought that it was
Oh,
the
that is
same.
very
I thought it was the
similar,
same story
actually.
for a second. I was like, oh shit.
He's like, I'm not
You're
gonna
2 for 2.
yeah, 2 for 2. That'd be great. So so the horse, like basically like gently bit her and kind of like
I think
or
it
bit
like grabbed onto.
Was it him or her?
It was a him, Brendan.
Okay,
was the
gently
storyteller.
bit his hand and then just
Dragged
kind of dragged him in,
Yeah.
like
It sounded forceful. but,
forceful.
yeah.
Okay, that's weird. And
Yeah.
what language is that?
Don't know. Not a clue.
Because he
tried
was like
looking it up,
demon
couldn't figure-
horse, and I'm like,
yeah,
what?
they clearly understood what it was, but
Yeah.
I'm not positive.
Like it
I wish I had
almost
done
sounds
more
like
research on it, but
It
I
sounded
apologize.
kind of like Hispanic to me.
It could have been.
to me it sounded more like
Or-
those villages, in like Germany and stuff, like or like whatever
like Scandinavian.
yeah,
Or something.
Oh, yeah,
something
I
like
guess,
that.
yeah.
Yeah. Because that's what I was picturing in my
Norse.
head. Yeah, yeah.
A Norse horse.
Norse horse. God damn. it. Oh man, dude, that was a great story. Okay, I get that. That feels like you couldn't follow up, but
Yeah,
you
so
did a
this is pretty
fantastical
tough. I
job.
appreciate
Come on,
Yeah,
guys, keep
thanks.
up. Let's go.
Oh my god.
If we wouldn't
This
have
man gonna
gotten the
get
same
paid.
story, I'm really surprised that it took us this long to actually stumble upon the
Seriously,
same story.
yeah.
And,
So the story that I'm doing, guys, is literally the story that we were talking about. That me and Caleb literally messaged the same dude, asked for permission, and he was just like, "Yeah, like you okay or OKU 9707 like."
you got us both.
Yeah, you got us both, bro. And you guys will understand why. This is a great story. It's pretty creepy. But I guess I'll go ahead and get started. My story is called I Haven't Always Had a Fear of Water. I believe the exact term for it is thalassophobia. Did I say that right? Okay.
Close enough.
It wasn't until I was in my teens and my best friend told me about what happened to his kid sister when they were little and were vacationing at Lake Tahoe that this deep abiding fear manifested itself. There are a ton of myths and legends surrounding this lake. Everything from old Native American legends of burial grounds, hauntings, to stories about the mob and how they dumped the bodies of people they killed in the deeper parts of the lake. There's also a lot of mystique surrounding the lake itself, just because of how deep it is and because people who drown in the deeper parts of the lake rarely resurface. If they're found, they're more or less perfectly preserved even years later because of how cold the water gets the further down you go. My family used to have a vacation home up there when I was young, and we do a lot of boating and swimming there each summer. At that point, I didn't see anything the least bit unsettling about the lake or the surrounding area. On the contrary, I was always floored by how absolutely gorgeous it was. My favorite thing about it was how clear and blue the water is. When I'd go swimming, one of my favorite things was to wear goggles and peer down below me to see the vast empty blue void extending down and around me for as far as I could see. I could see how this might bother some people, and maybe if younger me had known more about some of the myths and legends I mentioned earlier, specifically about my friend's experience, I'd have been scared then too. If I had known, then perhaps watching how the shafts of light dancing below the water and gradually fading into the empty bluish purple void would have evoked a sense of dread and vulnerability. Or seeing the faint outline of aquatic plants waving further down would have reminded me more of hands blindly reaching out and grasping for anyone within their reach. But I digress. Anyway, this friend and his family were vacationing, as I'd mentioned, near the lake. While they were there, they did a lot of swimming and exploring. On the second to the last day there, his dad took him and his little sister out on a pontoon boat rental. They had life jackets on, and he and his sister took turns jumping out of the boat into the water, climbing back into the boat, and then jumping back into the water. They repeated this a few times, but on the fifth or sixth time his little sister jumped, somehow she slipped out of her life jacket and started sinking pretty rapidly. It apparently happened so fast that by the time their dad who had been keeping a close eye on them, dove in after her, she was already disappearing beyond the clear, well-lit surface and into the hazy, bluish-purple depth of the lake. Their dad dove down as far as he could after her, but eventually he couldn't go any deeper and he had to resurface. He frantically dove down again several times to see if he could spot her, but didn't see any sign of her. Climbing back on the boat, he grabbed his cell phone. Reception can be pretty spotty that far out, but he was able to contact the authorities, who eventually arrived with a dive team to search for the missing girl. Honestly, at that point, I don't think they were expecting to find her alive. Their main goal at that point was probably just to retrieve the body. Their hours-long search extended into the evening by the time they had to call it off. They were back at it first thing in the morning, and as soon as it was light enough to see, but were unsuccessful that day as well. My friend and his parents extended their time out there as search and rescue crews tried in vain to recover the body of their little girl. There were even some people searching with dogs along the shoreline on the off chance she washed up there. It was a long shot, but it ended up paying off in a big way on the fourth day. One of the dogs and its handler was searching on the opposite shore from the rest of their team when his dog started going ballistic. He'd apparently picked up the girl's scent. They'd been given a couple of pieces of her clothing for that purpose.
Bad timing.
Not only was she found, but she was found miraculously alive, which no one could explain. The thing that really startled the rescuer, though, was that her face had deep scratch marks all over it, and it was clear that the damage extended from her eye to the rest of her face. It was so bad that she was left blind, but there was no other scratches on any other part of her small body. Later, when the police were trying to figure out how she had survived and how she had gotten the scratches around her face and eyes, they piled her with questions. She was 5 or 6 at the time, so her answers weren't at all that helpful. Based on what little she was able to articulate, she and her brother had been jumping off the boat to see who could make the biggest splash when she slipped out of her life jacket. All she'd say after that was that the cold people from the bottom got her, and whatever that meant, and whatever else she saw scared her so badly that she had to scratch herself to make herself not see them. She also seemed to be completely unaware that she had been missing for 4 straight days. The way she described it was that she was down there for maybe a few minutes before she escaped while simultaneously scratching her eyes out, and was almost immediately found by the nice dog, and it shocked the handler.
Damn.
Now, I didn't know this friend or his sister at the time. It wasn't until years later, when we were all teens, that we met in high school. Found out we used to vacation on the same spot and eventually became good friends. By that time, we were both pretty well emotionally adjusted. My friend's sister was actually really outgoing, and despite her physical appearance, the scars around her eyes, and her being blind, she was well accepted by most of the other students and was pretty attractive. When I got to know her, or not attractive, active, Jesus. When I got to know her and her brother better,
All right,
they
Josh.
confided in me
Calm down.
what had happened when they were little. I got curious and probed her further about it and asked what she saw that scared her enough to hurt herself like she did. I've never seen someone's demeanor change that quickly. Her normally upbeat and outgoing attitude changed in an instant, and all she would say was that there are things at the bottom of that lake no one should ever have to know about. I remember that conversation vividly to this day. The story itself was enough to make me deathly afraid of swimming in large bodies of water. But seeing the way she shut down so quickly, her unseeing eyes staring blankly at me and the tears streaming from the one eye that could still produce them, is what really cemented my phobia. Sorry, I butchered that a little bit.
No, you did good.
So she was only down there for a couple minutes,
She thought she was.
Yeah,
Yeah.
to her, it
Yeah,
felt like
she-
a couple of minutes.
but she was down there for 4 days.
4 days.
4 days.
What the fuck?
Yeah, that's crazy.
And even though I've already read the story and I knew it, I was like mouthing along to a couple parts because I was like, it's a good story.
Yeah.
It still bothers me of like the thing where the cold people were so unbearable to look at that she had to scratch her
Yeah,
eyes out.
like she's a
Yeah.
little
Awful.
kid, and
Yeah.
her instant reaction was to rip her own eyes out.
because she didn't want to see it.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's the only way to
that's
not
like-
see them. Yeah.
That's so brutal. And I don't know how many times, when you're fucking walking in the ocean or whatever, and the damn plants in there like touch your leg, and you're like, it's a fucking hand, I'm dead. Like they're gonna pull me under. Like,
Or maybe the little, like, you know how you hit the cold spots every now and then? Maybe that's a
Yeah,
cold
like the
person getting a
super-
little too close to you.
I've had that feeling in
fuck
rivers. Like when something brushes
Yeah.
up
Yeah.
against you in a river.
yeah, it's
You're like,
That happens in
that's a dead
Galveston.
body.
Happens in
that's a
Galveston.
dead body just floating down the river. Yeah, Dude, that was, man. And I guess I like didn't. I've read the story, but I didn't remember parts because I was like reading. I'm like, whoa! I was like, it was freaking me out.
Yeah.
But yeah, shout out to OKU9707 on Reddit No Sleep. That was a killer story, and I'm happy that at least one of us got to do it.
I have no spite towards you.
Yeah,
for telling
no,
the
not
story.
at all. Like it's really funny. Like we're joking around about it because like we're surprised that
It
we're
hasn't happened
34
sooner.
episodes in and it just now happened.
Yeah.
But yeah, thank you so much for your enthusiasm and allowing us to do that.
Definitely.
Like you fucking rock. Like we appreciate you. But yeah, dude, man. So
Do y'all have any instances of being scared in the past couple weeks?
I can't think of one.
You've had to have something happen
I
at
wanna
work.
draw today.
I did.
Oh, you did?
Yes.
Do tell.
So this happened
I'm drawing
to
today.
a oh, it's your joke. I'm drawing today. It is my destiny. So this actually happened to me, a couple of clients, and one of
Why'd you look at me like that?
I don't know how I'm going to do this one.
and one of my coworkers. I work for a rehab facility. It used to be a bed and breakfast, and so it's it's like cottages. Like we're trying to do a different kind of style of rehab that's not white wall hospital feel. So like clients have like cottages that they stay in. It's like out in the country, all this stuff. Which, by the way, I've been wanting to do this. If you or anybody that you care about is suffering from addiction, like please, like DM us. I can give you the information to get you guys out to the prairie because
And that's any addiction, not just drugs and alcohol.
yeah, like any addiction or even mental health
And
too.
then-
Like
I don't know if this is true, but I'm pretty sure. But even if you're not in our local area, I'm sure they can get you in touch
oh
with
yeah, we
somebody
have
in your
people
area.
come from all over.
Yeah.
But anyway, so one of the things that we do sometimes is we have like golf carts and we'll take the clients out and let them like not let them drive, we'll drive, but so that they can like drive around the property and look at the property. And we were doing that with some of the clients, me and my coworker, and she was the one driving, and it's getting kind of dark, and there's this dead tree, like it's like still like it's still up, but it's dead. You can tell it's dead. And she's driving, and all of a sudden she just stops, and she literally just like throws her hands up and like screams, like she's like ah, like, and like I mean the coworker that I'm talking about, like it takes a lot. She's tough person, and like she was a security guard for like a prison at one point. Like for her to get like spooked was like that already scared me. But she was like, "Did you see that?" Like she's freaking out. Like it's not like we were already in the mood for spooky stuff, anything like that. It was very like unprompted. Like there was just no reason for her to have that mindset in the first place. And then she drive, like I'm like, I didn't see anything. And then so she drives to the dead tree to see. She saw somebody walk behind the basically walk behind the dead tree, but didn't go out the other side. And so we like fly up to the dead tree right away, and there's nobody there. And I don't know if you guys know this, but so back in the day when they would do seances and stuff, like witches, a common thing that witches would do is they would find dead trees and they would take the bark off the dead tree, and that would be a part of their ritual. They would burn it to like I don't know, it's
That's
some
why.
symbolism.
That's why I had y'all gather bark.
Oh, so
Yeah,
you knew,
no.
you knew. Okay,
that's not-
there's some symbolism to that. So for it to be the spirit walks behind the dead tree that's used, is a symbol and is used. The bark
Was
is
there
used.
bark missing?
I mean, there was bark on it, but yeah, there were patches of it missing. Yeah, but like it just kind of like I knew that already, and I had never told them that. So like, and so I'm just like, what the fuck? Like it was kind of like all these like little like incidences all coming together. It was really fucking weird and it was creepy. And then another thing that happened that same night, the nurse messages me, and she's like, "Come up here. Like, I need you to watch the cameras. Like, I saw something weird." And she had not been told about what had happened either. So we weren't in the spooky vibe. I really want to stress that because you get when something kind of weird happens, you kind of get in this mood, and then like you'll see shit. You can convince yourself. Your brain's a very powerful thing, but yeah, so she like comes up and she's like rewinding the tape for like a certain area, And I'm watching it, and all of a sudden this mist appears and just goes like right up into the camera and everything. And you know, we have like, I don't even know how many cameras out there. I'm looking at all the other cameras while this is happening, and there's no.
It's the only camera.
That's the only camera that's getting the mist, and it's like up on a corner of the building, and I'm like trying to be like, okay, it's fog, blah blah blah. So that's why I started looking at the other cameras.
Someone's
no fog
smoking
anywhere.
outside.
Yeah, well, that's what she thought.
Yeah.
Like she was like, I thought maybe you were smoking. I didn't know, but she was like, you shouldn't be smoking right there. You know, like we have designated areas for that, blah blah blah. Yeah, and so that happened that same night too, and it was just like I was like, dude, this is too much paranormal shit happening all at once. Like this night needs to calm down. Like, and I haven't been able to tell anybody that yet because I've been working 7 days a week, and I literally go home, go to sleep, wake up, go to work, go home, go to sleep, wake up, go to work. So yeah, that was my creepy stuff that happened.
Nice.
That was very creepy.
I had some a weird thing. You know how the train goes by my house,
It goes choo choo.
and you know how trains make big screechy sounds.
Yeah.
So I didn't hear. I was asleep to start this off, and it awoke me. It was one of those days where you kind of like you go to bed like real early and you wake up in the middle of the night and you're
Yeah.
like, shit, I can't go back to sleep.
Yeah, it's like 4 a.m. You're like,
It's
oh,
exactly what time it was.
well,
Thanks.
oh, that's creepy.
But yeah, no. I wake up, I realize it's a train because I could hear like the bassiness of the tracks and. But
Sound effects.
what woke me up and scared the shit out of me is the squeaking of the cars sounded like a woman screaming like at the top of her lungs.
Oh, it was just like that perfect like tone and note. Oh, that's crazy.
It was, yeah.
So it's literally, could you imagine? Could you imagine like you're sitting at a train stop and the train goes by, it's just like,
It was like one of those.
that was really good.
That was a good one.
Yeah, I thought that was a sound bit first. Yeah. Oh shit. Oh man, yeah, I would freak out too if I woke up to that. If I woke up, did I ever tell y'all the armadillo story or whatever?
I don't think so.
Okay, so like armadillos scream like humans.
Oh, yeah.
like they're like ah
Yeah.
or whatever. And this was back whenever I was a chef for the Prairie.
That's how I envision every animal.
Yeah, just ah. And so whenever I was a chef, I had to come in around 6:30 in the morning, 7 o'clock in the morning. So I'm walking and it's still dark. And it was like right whenever it was supposed. It was around this time, and I'm walking and I come up to the first cottage, and there's an armadillo there. And I didn't see him, he didn't see me, but then we kind of saw each other at the same time. And so I jumped because I just saw movement out of the corner. I was like, ah!
Yeah.
And I scared him so bad that he went, ah! Like at the same time. And I was like, I remember walking to the DH and I'm like, man, I feel bad whoever's in that cottage. They're probably like, what the fuck is going on outside? Like, yeah, that was pretty.
I don't have a armadillo story, but I do have a story of we were like maybe 12, 11 years old playing airsoft in our front yard. We were just little kids being dumb, and we were all taking a break. And you all know the location, like the pond.
Yeah.
But basically, there's a threshold where the woods end, and then there's a stairway that goes down, and then there's a dock that goes to our little tank that we have out there. So we all just went down there. It's late. It's like probably 12:30, 1 a.m. We were
Yeah.
just hanging out. And we all get down there, and I don't know if you've ever heard what a bullfrog sounds like, but it was
I can
directly.
do it. Fuck.
It's
Like that?
but the yelp.
Oh.
It sounded like a grown man going. "Ah." Yeah. And we were terrified because not because it was in our area, because it was under us
Under
in
the
the
dock.
water,
Yeah.
and we could hear like bubbles. We thought there was a man under there, and we jetted.
my God.
We jetted back. Up
Yeah,
the
I don't
stairs.
blame you. I'm a grown ass man. I would have done the same thing
Yeah.
now.
I just
Like,
realized I
nope.
apologize for listeners.
It's loud sound warning. Headphones
I have a
warning.
possum story.
We're keep
We're
going.
on a roll now, I
Let's
guess.
go.
Why not?
I was leaving and I was going down Frisch off and in the neighborhood over there going towards the convenience store. And my headlights hit a possum in a driveway so perfect that it looked like it was a man walking. Like, cause it was like elongated.
Yeah.
This was right after we had the Shadow Person episode.
Oh, that fucked
You're
you
on
up,
edge,
dude.
yeah.
Yeah, I about crashed my goddamn car,
Well, I'm dead.
and then I realized it was a fucking possum. I was like, I almost died because of a possum.
Speaking of possums,
Oh man, I'm loving this. What do we-
okay, so it was in your driveway. It was after an episode, that possum. That was the first time I'd ever like been right up on a possum playing
Oh, really?
dead, and I couldn't back out of your driveway
Yeah,
because it was
they
like
won't move.
perfectly in the way.
Yeah. You can just pick them up and move them.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That might
You
bite
like
you.
touch it?
Yeah. I mean,
I mean, they are pretty
It's like
cute.
like a cat. You bite, grab it by the scruff of the neck and it won't move.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I did not know that. Well, you learn something fucking new every day.
Yeah.
Goddamn.
When
Goddamn.
I was little, we were playing by a hedge, and there was a family of armadillos in the hedge, and we were barefoot playing football in the yard, and the armadillos came out of the hedge and started licking our toes.
Are you serious?
That is the
That's
cutest
awesome.
You think I
fucking
make that shit
story.
up?
Yeah.
No,
That is the cutest fucking story
We
I've
had a
ever
little
heard.
family of baby armadillos over here, but
They
they
like
wouldn't let
licking
us.
toes.
They
You should,
wouldn't let us
you
pet
should
them.
see if they'll let you lick or if
They're not here. This was
if they'll
years
lick
ago.
your toes.
I don't think they will.
if you ever see an armadillo, preferably baby armadillos, let them lick your toes.
The only
You need to put like
family.
peanut butter on it or
Nope.
No, dang, that's crazy.
That's it. I mean,
That's
it's-
pretty
it's-
impressive.
You just fucking stick your foot out.
That's wild. The
No,
only-
we were just standing there. No, legit, we were just standing. So it was in their neighbors.
What does this become?
Welcome to the possum armadillo.
Oh, I have
Podcast.
the small skunk story.
But no,
Can you tell that we
so-
live in a rural town?
so the Marshall house right across from
Yeah.
my street. They have that hedge, and then there's Miss Pinky's house. She has her driveway on the other side of the hedge. We were just standing in the driveway, and they just came up to us and started licking our toes.
Dude, they're like spooked animals. Like they don't do that. That's
Yeah.
awesome. All right, all right. So what
felt
do we
one
pull? What
with
do we
nature.
draw?
We got
I
subliminal.
forgot we drew.
Subliminal messages.
Subliminal.
Subliminal.
Sublime.
Sublime massage.
Subliminal. Subliminal.
Subliminal messages.
Haven't we talked about
Jesus
subliminal messages?
Subliminal. I can't say it.
Oh, I thought you were joking.
No,
Subliminal.
I'm having a hard time here.
Subliminal messages.
Subliminal.
Didn't we?
It's like cinnamon.
Oh my
You're
God.
joking. There's no
No,
way.
I can't.
cinnamon.
Simonin.
Sim,
What is this guy?
Simonin.
Simonin.
Cinnamon.
No,
This
simonin.
podcast is slowly fucking falling
Oh,
apart.
we're still doing the thing, right? Thing.
Oh wow.
Subliminal messages.
Okay, so we didn't do that. We did found footage.
No, but didn't we talk about like how TV shows and subliminal
yeah, we've
messages?
talked.
like,
We've talked about it before.
Now we get to do a whole story about them.
I'm kind of excited about that because I want to tell the story about the thing with the stuff in the movie theater.
Uh huh.
Yeah,
All right, cool.
Don't know
but that's
what
just
you're
going to be
talking
a part of explaining it.
Okay,
but
great.
It's not going to be the story.
about. I think we should probably wrap this one.
All right.
I think we
Put a bow on this bitch.
Put a bow
Send us
on
home,
this
Josh.
bitch. This is a good.
Stick a fork in it.
This is a good
doing
episode.
the
I
outro?
had fun. I
No.
really enjoyed it. Hold on. I need to pull up. I keep pulling up the wrong fucking. You think I would have this shit memorized by now? But
This podcast, sponsored, not sponsored by Rain Energy Drink.
Jesus Christ.
Sponsored
That's
by
it
Subliminal.
For episode 34 of Dead Reflections Podcast, we'd like to shout out our friends in Dark Hour
Anemone.
Podcast, FTS Paranormal. Please go. We encourage y'all to go give them a listen and or check them out.
You can follow us at Dead Reflections Podcast on all social medias or follow the link tree to find those socials. You can find Spotify, TikTok, Apple Podcasts, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and the YouTube version of this podcast on YouTube. Jesus Christ. Email us at deadreflectionspod@gmail.com to submit your stories. Let us know how you're doing or maybe give us a tale about your local possum or armadillo family. I don't know.
Yeah.
Any kind of critter.
Let us know if armadillos are licking your feet.
Send possum memes to me
Send possum
specifically.
memes.
They're so cute.
Be sure to follow our band, Familiar with Failure, at FWFTX on all social medias.
Please leave a rating or review on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. It puts us in more horror podcast playlists and helps new people find our creepy stories. Thank you for all the continued support. And remember, tell your family, tell your friends, and tell the monsters under your bed to listen to Dead Reflections Podcast. Have a spoopy night.
Raccoon memes also suffice.